A heat wave in May, then August rain, and what the heck happened to May gray and June gloom? And does any of this year's local weather predict more Santa Ana winds in September or a drought-busting El Nino this winter? Here with some of the answers are National Weather Service meteorologist Alex Tardy and Alexander Sasha Gershnoff, climate researcher with Scripps Institution of Oceanography. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Alex, I've heard a lot of people talking about our hot and humid and generally odd weather of late. Is this year's, let's say, spring and summer weather really that unusual compared to years past?
Well, we've certainly had our share of active weather, even on the coast. 2 weekends in a row with lightning and rain, that doesn't happen very often. Santa Ana's in May that basically cause us to run for our life at times. That's pretty rare to have something that strong. But it's not like haven't seen this in the past before. So we are seeing weather that's a little more extreme, even on the immediate coast. Humidity, you walk out the door and that's the first thing you notice is, oh, it's kind of warm today, even before the sun gets high in the sky. So we've had some events that have brought elevated humidity, but at the same time we've brought dry events, like the Santa Ana's in May. And the big picture is we remain in this extreme drought across all of California.
And we're going to get back to that because I want to ask you, Sasha, you study long-range climate change, which is not exactly the same as weather. The National Climate Assessment Report recently released, they did this for the country a few months ago, and they said that there were some key climate trends identified in the Southwest region. Can you tell us what some of those are?
Well, one is a tendency towards more humid and hotter heat waves. And that's really important in the Southwest because we're used to dry heat. Humid heat keeps nighttime temperatures elevated, and it's much harder to take that.
Yeah, and I noticed that was a big thing with this humid not cooling down at night as we're typically used to here. What kind of impact does that have, or relationship does it have on public health by not cooling like we're used to?
Well, people, animals, and plants that are acclimated to our dry heat in this region are stressed by the heat and humidity. Not only is it harder to live through humid heat, it feels a lot hotter. It prevents us from cooling down when we sweat. But also the respite that we don't get at night because the temperatures are, stay very hot because of that humidity is a double whammy in terms of, getting people sick.
Getting people sick. And Alex, where is all this extra humidity coming from? Do we know why we're a little more humid and keeping that way at night?
We kind of do, besides the fact that it's summer and we get these monsoon surges of moisture from Baja California. Sea surface temperatures in the Baja and the California Bight are running above normal, and that's attributing to additional moisture in the atmosphere. If you look back since January, our average temperatures are, anywhere you look in the mountains and the coast and the valleys, are running first place, as most of them are in first or second place, record temperatures. That's including your highs and your low temperatures. So we do know where it's coming from. We just don't know if it's here to stay necessarily.
And that's my next question. The long-range forecast, I think many of us who have gardens want to know, are we going to get El Nino rain this winter?
We are seeing El Nino develop, and we've been talking about it for a while. It's basically flatlining now, and we're looking at probably a weak, maybe moderate, but more likely a weak El Nino coming up for this fall and winter. What does that mean? Does that mean our garden's going to be okay? There's not much correlation to that. In order to get a drought-busting year, we would need at least 1.5 times as much precipitation, so much more than just normal. We don't really even know if this El Nino will bring us a normal winter.
Okay, briefly, would a typical Santa Ana then be? Can we expect that this fall as we typically do in mid-September?
Yeah, if you look back at all the years of records, we get 1 or 2 Santa Anas in October and November. Typically, that's the time where we're most susceptible because we haven't seen rain for months.
I see. And Sasha, is there an upside to these changing weather patterns where maybe more humidity and this change, might we see more diversity in flora or fauna?
I doubt it because our flora and fauna are acclimated to the conditions that have prevailed historically, and if that's changing, that's probably going to stress them out.
So not necessarily new species might come in and say, look, a little more moist for us.
It would definitely create more opportunity for invasive species.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not good news. And we'll look for the El Nino. Meteorologist Alex Tardy and Alexander Sasha Gershnoff, thank you so much.
Thank you.